Hi guys, thank you everybody for being here and listening to this webinar of ApiLife Var, thymol product market leader in Europe and distributed in United States by Véto-pharma. So, what are we going to listen today? ApiLife Var's presentation, so its benefits against varroa mites and its tolerance to honeybees, its formulation by a chemical point of view and its pharmaceutical form, its way of action, when and how to use ApiLife Var correctly in your apiary in order to control varroa mites infestation, and its studies of efficacy. So the benefits of ApiLife Var, we can summarize them in 3 points. A unique formulation with a blend of 4 natural ingredients increasing its efficacy against varroa mites. It has a better thymol releasing compared to other thymol products, and you can find the sources of these 2 quotes in the left corner down of this slide. And then it is the best natural product on winter losses for 3 years in USA according to a monitoring made by Bee-Informed Partnership USA. So its formulation. It has a very unique and advantageous formulation compared to other thymol based treatments. It has 4 ingredients divided in 3 active ingredients: thymol, eucalyptus oil and menthol, and an excipient camphor. You can appreciate the exact concentration of such ingredients in the gray table on the right, and due to its composition it has a direct action on the mite by inhalation and contact, and we will explain it better forward in the presentation. So the combination of these 4 ingredients is a key advantage of the formulation of ApiLife Var. The presence of menthol, camphor and eucalyptus oil allows us to reduce the total amount of time during the production in the manufacturing plant. So we can concentrate the thymol, which is of course the most effective against varroa mites, but also the most toxic to honeybees. So it's a very intelligent step to reduce this concentration of active ingredient thymol. So we can reach also a more constant to the evaporation rates, because such mixture becomes a eutectic mixture that allows us to dissolve thymol without using any alcohol or any other solvent, and then we can use such chemical nature to an advantage evaporation within the beehive using the inner beehive temperature. Well, which are the differences of the formulation between ApiLife Var and ApiGuard? The net advantage of ApiLife Var evaporation technology instead of ApiGuard is its natural evaporation due to its liquid formulation, exploiting the inner hive temperature and the artificial distribution, because honeybees remove the tablet, distributing it among themselves. So the distribution of ApiLife Var is increased due to these factors, while ApiGuard depends on the removal of the gel by honeybees workers only. Therefore it means that you can experience a high removal dose and high evaporation rate over a low removal with a low evaporation rate. Thus it doesn't work with constancy. So if the gel of ApiGuard hardens, honeybees cannot remove it, disrupting the acaricidial action. While on the other hand, ApiLife Var never hardens, allowing a regular acaricidial action. So, how the formulation affects release and efficacy? The green sponge is soaked in the 4 ingredients during the production process. The blend remains liquid even at colder temperature according to the fact that it is an eutectic mixture. The liquid thymol becomes gaseous by evaporation, so it's still easily accessible to bees, also by contact, and so we can reach a more reliable efficacy. So remember that pure thymol is solid until a temperature of 120 and 123 degrees, therefore also under high condition of 95 degrees, so it means that you cannot use thymol crystal directly in the beehive without using an excipient or a solvent. But with ApiLife Var, where we mix thymol with other aromatic substances, we decrease its melting point, the so-called eutectic mixture. So thymol becomes liquid, and the reality is that on the sponge you can find both a solid and liquid thymol that can pass to the gaseous stage, which is necessary to reach the varroa mites on the bees. And the step from liquid to gaseous is much more constant and reliable than the step from solid to gaseous, especially under cooler temperatures. So this is always the main and most important difference between ApiLife Var and ApiGuard. So the liquid and solid form against the gel. So its way of action: it acts by inhalation and by contact. It means that by its gas it can reach the respiratory tract of the varroa mites, and as oils can dissolve other oils or lipids or fats, the cuticle of varroa mites is made also by proteins with fats, and the essential oils of ApiLife Var can create a mechanical damage on the cuticle of varroa mites. So we have two ways to create damages to varroa mites. So when and how to use ApiLife Var correctly in your apiary in order to reach a very good and reliable efficacy. So we can use ApiLife Var in early spring, before the nectar flow if temperature conditions are adequate, in summer and fall, or winter in the south, soon after the honey harvest, and if the temperature conditions are adequate, 2 treatments per year may be made. So remember that the external temperature with ApiLife Var is very important, because the external temperature influences the behavior of honeybees. So the ideal external temperature during the treatment is between 68 degrees and 77 degrees, while the range of use between is 64 and 95 degrees. It's important to remember that if the external temperature is less than 64 degrees, the effectiveness may be reduced, while if the external temperature is above 95 degrees, can increase the stress on the colony, and we can experience the behavior of absconding. We suggest to apply it in the early morning or late afternoon, not during the midday, for example. So, how to use ApiLife Var? We buy our products and we can observe the yellow sachet. We open the package containing 2 tablets. We take 1 tablet and divide it into 4 parts. We open the hive and put the pieces at the corners on the top of the frames in the nest body. It's important to avoid placing the pieces directly above the brood nest in order not to disturb the activity of the queen. It's important to remember that there is no need for extra space or ecce above the brood nest, and we close the hive and let the product act for 7 to 10 days. So, for a whole treatment with ApiLife Var, we need 3 applications. The first application we leave the tablet from 7 to 10 days. Second application, we leave it from 7 to 10 days. And the third and last application, we leave ApiLifeVar for 12 days. So for a whole treatment, we need 3 tablets or 1/2 bags to ensure a full treatment. It's really important to respect this dosage. So, as far as we know, all the hives of the same apiary should be treated at the same time to avoid first reinfestation and secondly robbing. Of course, do not use during honey flow, not for a problem of residues, but because thymol can modify the scent, the flavor and the taste of the honey, in particular of the whitish honeys, delicate honeys, and remove ApiLifeVar tablets from hive at least 1 month, 30 days prior to harvesting honey. There is the possibility of feeding during the treatment with a sugar patty or sugar syrup, commercial or handmade, in order to increase the activity of fanning of honeybees within the beehive, and in order to reduce the stress on the colony. After the first opening of the pack, of course, it's very important to use all the tablets immediately, because it's a product that acts by evaporation, so we lose the active ingredients, and use of ApiLifeVar is of course most effective when less seed broth is present, because essential oils cannot reach the varroa mites within the kept broth. And it's important to not use ApiLifeVar with weak colonies. So we remember here 3 key elements for the correct use of ApiLifeVar in our apiary. The most important is to use it only with adequate temperature. Colonies shall have 8 to 20 full-size Langstroth frames or equivalent, and it's important to avoid placing the tablets directly above the brood nest. Remember here the range of temperatures between 64 and 95 degrees, not less, not more. So, studies of efficacy of ApiLifeVar. Remember that this product is registered in 35 countries all over the world. So the efficacy of ApiLifeVar has been tested under different field conditions, and it has been always above 85%. That is quite high and reliable efficacy with a natural product. And consider that on 2016 it has been the most used natural product against varroa mites in Europe. Remember that we always need and we want the highest efficacy against varroa mites, but it's also important to remember that we need a constant efficacy. So in this table, in this graph given in this slide, we can appreciate that the efficacy of ApiLifeVar is constant in different temperature conditions. So, for example, in cooler countries, like cooler regions of different countries like northern Italy or Hesse and Rhine Valley in Germany, while at the same time we have a very constant and reliable efficacy also in central Italy and in southern Italy, where the temperatures normally are higher than the north. And you can appreciate the lack of constant efficacy of ApiGuard in different regions. And the source of this data is given below in the left corner of this slide. Another fact to underline is that according to a bee-informed partnership monitoring, ApiLife Var as given in the last 3 years the lowest loss rates of colonies among the other natural products like ApiGuard, OpGuard of oils and formic acid. It means that the colonies treated with ApiLife Var can survive to the winter easier than colonies treated with other natural products. So, another thing is that ApiLife Var lost is 31.9% fewer colonies than those who report in not treating with any varroa mite control product. And according to the graph given on the left, you can appreciate the fact that with ApiGuard you lose more colonies over the winter instead of the apiaries or colonies treated with ApiLife Var. Remember that you can find the source of this data on the left corner in the slide. So, thank you for listening us, thank you for choosing ApiLife Var and Véto-pharma, and I hope you can treat correctly with ApiLife Var, and should you need any further information, you can contact us to info@véto-pharma.com. Bye and nice beekeeping to everyone.